Good afternoon. We're going to go ahead and start Project Review Committee today for September 21st, 2022 at 1:44 p.m. I'm going to go ahead and do roll call here for the city staff. We're joined by myself, Oscar Cepeda, the Associate Planner within the Planning Division. We're also joined by Rocio Mejia, the Interim Assistant Planner. We're also joined by Javier Sanchez, the Engineering and Project Management Director. We're also joined by Brianna Spree from Field Services. Also joined by Michael Knight from Public Works, the Public Works Director, and also Jeff O'Neill, our Interim City Planner. And also here in person, we were joined by Clayton Dignam, our Fire Marshal for the Fire Department. Okay, now at this time, I'm going to go ahead and open oral communications. This is the opportunity for members of the public to address the committee on any matter pertaining to project review. Okay. But seeing that we're not joined by anyone from the public, we're going to go ahead and then close oral communications. Okay. So for today's project review committee meeting, we have one item on the agenda, which is project review committee number 2022-024, which is a Watermill Express from applicant agent Oscar Guzman. And we're proposing a new 225 square foot purified water vending machine. And the vending machine is a prefabricated structure from reinforced precast concrete. The subject site is located inside the Porterville Plaza shopping mall, APN 251-130-040, and is located within the planned development zone district and has a general plan land use of commercial mixed use. Let me go ahead and share my screen here to outline the site plan for the proposed project here, which again is in the Porterville Plaza shopping mall.
And I just have one correction to that.
Sure.
The pad is the approximately 225 feet.
Okay.
The building itself is only 108, and that was in the operational statement.
Okay.
Submitted. I think they just confused it, but the building itself is only 108. Like the existing one that we have there now is 42 square feet. So
Understood.
they're not very big.
Thank you for clarifying that for us. I have someone else joining us, which looks like it's Robert Alvarez from Field Services. From planning standpoint, I'm going to go ahead and read our requirements per our development ordinance. Just a quick question in regards to the development here. Are we going to be leaving the existing watermill structure while we build the new one?
That's correct. We will build the existing pad, preparing the pad, and keep the existing in service up to the point, because again, they're just prefabricated.
Correct.
They come in and we just swap them out. We'll remove the one, place the new unit in, and then come back in and redo the parking lot as it was before.
Okay.
Removing the old pad and the bollards and everything.
Okay.
All right.
There's a question that way to clarify the project here. As far as the new proposed structure, it's more in line as far as the architecture of the building to help be more compatible with the existing development. It is in a planned development zone district with underlying commercial mixed use. So it'll be more compatible. One thing that we would have to do is orientate the service area towards Henderson. That because our within this zone district, it requires the uses to be pedestrian orientated.
Okay.
And having it facing north would give it that requirement.
Okay.
Second, since we are going to be relocating the structure more south of the old pad, the development ordinance within the zone district requires to provide a pedestrian walkway from the right of way to the structure, and it requires for it to be minimum 5 feet in width.
Okay,
It also requires for that walkway to be shall be paved with concrete, stone, tile, brick, or compatible material.
okay.
Okay.
Concrete, stone, tile, brick, not the asphalt that,
Correct. It is a requirement to have a change in material.
even though it's just another 10 feet away from the existing one.
Again, since we're proposing a new development,
Okay,
we have to comply with what the development ordinance
okay,
requires for a building.
okay,
Specifically within this zone district, specifically within this overlay, which is planned development. Now, if, for example, if we were to, keep the same path and just come in and, plot a new building, same
spot.
same footprint, for example, then us as staff from planning wouldn't require that, but since we're proposing a new development, we gotta get towards what the development ordinance requires for this type of development. Other than that, the structure itself, again, as mentioned before, is architecture compatible with what's there. We're gonna require for it to have a similar color scheme. Signage has to comply with the commercial mixed use zone district, which allows one, I believe it's allows 1.5 square feet of signage per linear foot of building frontage.
Okay,
Okay. Any mechanical equipment exposed has to be screened. Of course, maintenance of the facility, and also portions of the building has to have some type of landscaping planner.
right,
Minimum 20% that's facing the right of way
right,
and or facing a parking lot. That's pretty much our, big ticket items or big comments on this development.
mhm,
Which should be all from planning at this time. Next up, we're gonna go ahead and go over building division's comments.
okay,
Wasn't able to attend today's meeting, so
okay,
he left me his comments from the building division. So he did mention that the existing asphalt area to the north of the existing water vending machine, which is this up here. Let me pull up Google Maps, probably better. Just to kind of. Did mention that the existing asphalt area to the north of the existing water vending machine is a no parking area,
mhm,
right? Which would be here,
right,
and that's where the path of travel from the sidewalk exists now.
mhm,
By moving the new machine to the south, they would have to continue that path of travel to the new area.
mhm,
Chapter 11B of the California Building Code does not allow the path of travel to be located behind parking stalls. If the path of travel changes to between the existing stalls, between rows of cars, it would need to be a 4-foot clear path with the percentage slope meeting code and parking wheel stops at 2 inches
mhm,
in each stall to keep the nose of the cars out of the 4-foot clear area. As far as parking, I didn't bring this up earlier, but as far as parking, this area has more than the adequate minimum requirements. So if we have to make changes to the relocate some stalls or removing 1 or 2, we're not gonna reduce it in a way that would not meet the minimum for the shopping center.
right,
And that's the comment from building. If you have any questions from building, feel free to reach out to James. And
he
just-
and I discussed that prior to this, so yeah, I was aware of
Perfect.
what they were.
And just so your knowledge, we're gonna have all these comments compiled. In about 2 to 4 weeks after today's meeting, we'll mail it out to the applicant.
Okay,
Also send you an email that you have that.
okay,
And making the adjustments to your plans based off today's meeting.
okay,
Next off, with fire department, with Clayton.
So from a fire code standpoint, there's not really requirements that are specific to your project. However, I noticed that you're putting the bollards in, and the preference would be that the bollard design and layout match the fire code requirements. They have a specific requirement for bollards under section 312. It's not much different than the detail you show. Essentially, it's not less than 3 feet in the concrete instead of 2 feet 6. You've already got the 4-inch post, which means if it's filled with concrete, it's instead of a 12-inch base, it's a 15-inch base. And then that they're spaced no closer than 3 feet to the project and no more than 4 feet apart on the center. So almost what you're doing here, but the preference would be that you meet, and especially because of just the high volume of traffic there, just meet the vehicle impact protection that's outlined in the fire code.
Okay, and we'll get that. We'll get the specs on that.
I can provide that to you, but if you have any questions, it's under it's section 312. It's there, but we can provide that. What I will do is just on this, I'll just make a red line comment, because here you just put the position of the bollards is not critical to the structural integrity of the foundation and may be adjusted as needed. I'll just put, please comply with section 312 of the California Fire Code for the bollards. And then that makes it easy.
Very good.
That's it.
Thank you, Clay. Next with engineering with Javier.
Engineering won't have comments on this one.
Thank you, Javier.
Mhm.
Next with Brianna with field services.
I have no comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Brianna. Next with public works with Michael.
Yeah, the only comment I had was the backflow device being represented of its current location. The backflow device that currently feeds the existing water mill is over in the landscape along the driveway. And then the water line is extended over. Is your intent to reuse the existing service to feed the new piece of equipment?
That is correct.
Okay. And no change in service size?
No change in service size. That's
Okay.
correct.
So that would just need to be inspected by building, but other than that, no comment as long as it's served by a backflow device.
Yes.
Sounds good. Thank you, Michael. Okay, does the applicant have any questions for staff at this time?
The only question is, since we kind of started. I'm not gonna say backwards, because originally we were told we could just go straight to, because we were already there, already approved by building, that we went. Or by planning, we went to building first. I know that some of the departments have already. Looked at this. So you're saying 2 to 4 weeks to get
For
this
the letter,
back?
yes.
I mean, since we've already started with building, can we simultaneously
Of
go
course.
through the building department?
Of course, just I see you took notes
Yeah.
in regards to today's meeting.
Yeah.
You know, after today's meeting, we'll take a look at what was submitted.
Okay,
Again, evaluate their project based off each department's regulations and code sections. But again, it was just previously not understanding the project scope.
right,
I believe when we heard the first description, we thought it was just gonna be an addition or maybe just swapping out what was there.
mhm,
But since we're building a new structure south of it, it's considered a new construction, which would
Right, right.
require this process. It was just a misunderstanding on our part of the project scope.
Yeah.
But again, you know, we'll take a look from planning standpoint of what was submitted. We'll get you comments based off today's meeting and based off what was submitted, and we'll try to get that reviewed in a timely manner.
okay, yeah, I just want to see how we can expedite this and try to get the permits as quickly as possible. I mean, we're working on a little bit of a timeline. I mean, right now we're okay, but I just don't want to push it.
I don't think there's an issue working the two things concurrently,
Okay,
but the concern is that should you do something that comes out in a notice afterwards and have to make changes, that would be wholly borne on your responsibility.
No, absolutely. No,
So-
I understand that. I understand.
Thank you, Clayton. Any questions or any other information from staff today for the applicant? Okay, sounds good. So we're gonna go ahead and end today's project review committee meeting at 1:59 PM. Thank you, everybody.